Well, good morning, everybody. Thought it was time for another coffee chat. Kind of thought I made that a little strong this morning. I poured a bunch of cream in it and it didn't really change color. And I was right, it's strong, but that's good. I'd rather have strong than weak. So, there's been a lot of things happening. On Friday morning, I got up, had no plans to go anywhere, do anything out of the ordinary. And as many of you probably know, we are hoping to move back to Northern Ontario, and that's been in the forefront of our minds for the last year. Obviously, typically, things don't seem to work out in the time frame I had imagined it, but that's okay. There's a scripture verse that I lean on a lot, and it says, "My times are in your hands." And so I have learned, often the hard way over the years, to learn to be patient, to not try to push and force things, because anytime I have, it usually didn't work out well. I can see a lot of times where I made things happen. I can be pretty strong-willed. And sometimes when I get something in my head, it's full forward. But in my defense, I have learned. It's not always easy, and it doesn't mean I don't get stressed or anxious, but I typically try to rein myself in now and just wait on the Lord. He knows what he's doing. When I try to push ahead, basically what I'm saying is, this is what I want. You don't know what's best for me. And even if it is what's best for me, I don't trust that you are able or willing to make this happen. So in this instance, it's been a year. My mom passed away a year ago yesterday. And since the moment she drew her last breath, I knew that our season here was finished. And this has been a 17-year season. We've lived a lot of life here in 17 years, a lot of changes, but really want to go back to Northern Ontario, where we moved from when we came here, which in and of itself is a miracle, in the sense that when I left there, I had no intentions of ever going back. And when I did go back, it didn't feel like home until this past year. In fact, I think it was September. I went up to visit my daughter, and I was only supposed to be there for the weekend. And when it came time to go home, I said, I don't want to leave. And she said, well, don't. And I stayed another week. It felt like home again. Now, when we started this journey, it's just funny how things change along the way. I had a picture in my head of buying this property. I knew the house I wanted to build. I wanted lots of acreage so my kids could all build houses on the property. I wanted to be able to live off the land, raise animals, have a big garden, have chickens, to become self-sustaining as a family. But as time has gone on, sorry, I didn't think I'd get this emotional. I don't know why it surprises me, but as time has gone on, it's become clear that that's really not what we need to do right now. And I don't think I'll ever see that, to be honest. As we've looked at places and looked at properties and factored in costs and all those things, like, the properties are stupid expensive. Building is stupid expensive. And to be honest, I'm tired of construction. I'm tired of living in chaos. I'm just really over it. It's been years now, from one thing to another, and just so many things happening and changes that we've made here. And we're just nearing the end now of getting ready to list our place. So, I don't know, I guess maybe a month or so ago, I was up. Well, so it was the 2 weeks that I went up to look after Emerson and take her to swimming lessons. And anyway, I had the real estate agent show me some houses that I'd been looking at online, and you always have to see them yourself, because I'll tell you, yeah, you don't get the full picture. But anyway, so then this other place, totally unexpected, got posted, and went to see it, and it's in town. I had no intention. That was not on my radar whatsoever. I wanted to be on a lake. I wanted, like a dream list this long. But I walked into that house and it felt like home. And out of all the houses I saw, and I saw some really nice ones, there was something I would have had to change immediately just to be able to have it work for me. And this house, there's nothing I have to change. It's even painted and decorated the way I would have done it. And in fact, I had just been sitting out picking out colors for thinking about another place that we were possibly going to put an offer in on, and it was the exact same stuff. I mean, not exact, but it was perfect. And it's 4 doors down from my daughter and her husband and little Emerson, and they both work they both work full time. And I know when I'm there, it really helps them out a lot, because I cook meals, I do the dishes, I do, just keep things done up so that when they come home from work, they don't have to do all that. And I was only there 2 weeks, but I know it's appreciated. And I'm not saying I could do it every day, but I would be 4 doors down on the same block, on the same side of the street. So there's so many ways I could help them out. And then I would be near Emerson, and my other son and his wife live in Timmins. They have 2 young girls. So those are my 3 youngest grandchildren that I haven't had to see, haven't had the opportunity to spend a lot of time with because of distance. And when I was working, I couldn't just go up whenever. So all that to say is, this feels like the right place. So Friday morning, back to Friday morning, had no intention. Well, actually, so I'll go back. When we looked at the house, the owner showed it to us, and he was a really nice guy. And, we talked to him. At that point, they had it listed privately. They were selling it themselves. And I asked about putting an offer in condition on the sale of our house. And he said they really didn't want to entertain those offers. At that point, they wanted to sell it outright and not have to worry about conditions, which was understandable. So then a couple times, at least once, he messaged me. I asked him to keep me posted and let me know how things were going, and that I was really interested, but I had a house to sell. So then he messaged one time saying there was an offer that was coming in, and I thought, because then they did list it with real estate, and I panicked when I went back on the Facebook ad and it wasn't there. I thought, it's sold. And he said, no, we ended up listing it with a real estate agent. So then he messaged me one day and said that they thought there was an offer coming in. So I just had to trust, if this place is for us, that somehow God will hold it for us. And you have no idea the mountains that need to be moved to make this happen. So Friday morning, sitting in bed, having my coffee, watching YouTube, taking my time, really not highly motivated. Glenn had the weekend off starting that day. Just thought we'd laze around for the weekend, putter around, try and get some stuff done, and I get a message from the owner. He said, I just want to let you know, we haven't been getting any unconditional offers, and we're now willing to accept offers conditional on the sale of a house. And so I said to Glenn, okay, guess what? We're going to Englehart for the weekend, because Glenn hadn't seen the house. The other thing was my oldest son, Jeremy, who's in construction, did not want me to sign any papers without either him or my other son, Caleb, who's in construction, inspecting it first, because typically I look at the decor and miss some of the really key important things. So I messaged Caleb. I said, because I knew Jeremy was working, I said, would you be able, because it's a 3.5 drive from where he is, 3.5 hours, any chance you'd be able to come tomorrow and look at this place? And I explained it to him. He said, I don't know, I have plans. I have to be in Toronto at whatever time that same day, the Saturday. And then he messaged me back. He said, no, I'll go. I have to go up and right back. I have to leave Englehart by 12:30 to make it back in time. So long story short, we packed up. We went as far as Huntsville the first night, stayed at, my daughter's there. And then we left about 8 o'clock in the morning. The showing appointment was for noon. And so we got to Englehart about 11:30, and then Caleb came, saw the house, was quite happy with it, and left at 12:30 to go back to Huntsville, 3.5 hours, and then to Toronto after that. So these are my kids. This is how we work. And he was quite happy with the house, so we made an offer. And so as it stands right now, we have an accepted offer there, conditional on the sale of our house. And so we have a month to sell the house, and they still have the right to accept other offers. If another offer comes in that they want to accept, then we get 72 hours notice to be able to remove our conditions. Okay, as you've probably noticed, this is the next day. Different shirt, different coffee. Got cut off yesterday, interrupted, and never really got back to it. So just, again, continuing on. So where we're at right now is that we do have an accepted offer on the place in Englehart, conditional on the sale of our house. The renovations are probably going to be finished this weekend, and then my work really begins, because we've been here 17 years. We have 9 kids. They haven't typically lived all at home at the same time for a long time, but they do come and go, and they have brought spouses and grandchildren with them. And so it's not uncommon for us to have 11 people living here at a time. And over the years, we've, accumulated a lot of stuff. My biggest flaw that I will own readily, I am not materialistic, but I am sentimental to a fault. And so I find it hard to get rid of some things, not because they have any monetary value, but because they hold sentimental value for me. They represent memories that I cherish. And on top of our stuff, when we moved my mom in here a year ago, we inherited all her contents as well, and they had been in their house for, I don't know, at least 45 years. So you can imagine Plus, we lost the garage when we converted it to a granny suite, so our storage space was significantly reduced. So all that to say, like, I've got a lot of stuff to go through. There's a lot to go through, and that's what we're starting. I should have started a couple days ago, but it was a hard day on Monday. We got back Sunday. It was a hard day Monday. That was the first anniversary of my mom passing, and I was a bit of a wreck. And then yesterday, a bunch of the kids were around, and I just spent the day with them, because these are the children I'm going to be leaving behind this time, because not everybody's coming. In fact, only one is coming. So, yeah, a lot of changes. A lot of changes, and changes along the way with the changes. Like I said, our whole vision has been refined. And basically it's come down to Glenn and I need a place that we can be comfortable in, that we can be safe in. We're really not at the age to really look after animals, have a wood stove, be chopping wood, all that kind of stuff. And, you know, those were all possible when we were planning, however realistic or not, that most or all of the kids would be there as well, because then they would be able to do that. I don't know, are the flies bad at your place this year? They're driving me crazy here. I'm sure they serve some purpose, but I haven't found one that I am, get out of here, that I am, that they help me out at all. But anyway, so today is the big push to start clearing out junk. We are going to rent a dumpster in the next couple weeks, and in the meantime we're going to go through things and just pile up the stuff that's going to get thrown out, because there's a lot that isn't worth keeping. And the house that we're going to is significantly smaller, and I want to minimalize the amount of things that we have. I really want to create a peaceful, organized home for Glenn and I can't honestly say we've ever had that. I mean, peaceful, maybe. I don't know, define peace. When you've got 9 kids, how do you have peaceful when if it's supposed to look quiet? That's not what we've had. And I don't know that I'm really, it's going to be hard for me to not have the constant coming and going and chaos and glorious chaos. So life's changing for us, and it's bittersweet. And I think that happens all the time. And as much as I'm anxious to move and I really want to get into this place and sell this home, I also sense such a hesitancy. I think I procrastinate sometimes getting at this stuff, because I'm also leaving things behind, and I'm leaving the area that I grew up in. Both my parents are gone. It's not the same. There's not going to be a home to come home to for visits. And it's like leaving an era of my life. And being as sentimental as I am, that hits me really hard. And I'm just learning at my age, like, you go through so many things, and you know, when you're young, you just kind of push through, you let it roll off, and I think as you get older, you start to realize the value, and maybe value things more than you did when you were younger. I read a quote the other day. I actually posted it on Facebook, and something to the effect, to have the grace to know when a relationship, a job, whatever is over, and walk away from it, but without denying the value that it had in your life. And that's sort of where I am. I'm wanting to move forward. I'm wanting to see, I'm excited about the changes. I'm excited about being so close to my younger grandchildren and being able to spend time with them and get to know them more. Being able to be there for my daughter and son-in-law just down the street, so I'm close by if they need me for anything. So there's a lot of excitement and a lot of things to look forward to, but there's a lot of loss that I'm really grieving, and it's been a year of grief. It's been such a year. It's been a couple years, but especially the past year, like really, really, really knocked the wind out of me and really impacted me in ways that I hadn't anticipated. My mom was almost 95. I mean, we knew that time was going to come, but somehow she was so healthy and did so well on her own and was still mobile and still had all her faculties. She had no dementia. I think I really thought she was going to live forever. And as much as my whole life I've dreaded the day that she would be gone, I still did not anticipate how much it was going to impact me and affect me. But anyway, whatever, it's all part of life. And, another quote that I posted just recently was something along, as you go on the way shows up. And I think that's wise words, because like I said, the vision that we started out with a year ago and what we were hoping to achieve has been, well, it's nowhere near what we imagined, and yet it feels right. So, this is where I am learning to trust and just to be flexible and open and present, and to let things take their course, and not to try to make things happen and force things, but to just go with the flow and take the next right step and not hang on too tightly to the big picture or the agenda or the whatever. And in refining our decisions, like there were things I had to let go. I had always dreamed of building our own home. I know exactly how I'd want it to make it work for us, especially me in the kitchen. I wanted to be on water. I love kayaking. I thought it'd be so nice to just get up in the morning, hop in the kayak, go for a paddle. So I've had to let go of those things. And in doing that, I had to sit back and really think, okay, what is the priority here? Like, I have a lot of wants, I have a lot of wishes, I have a lot of dreams and whatever, but what is the priority in this? And basically the priority was to be near that part of my family. And I couldn't get much closer without moving in with them. And I want to have a garden. And I mean, my daughter Steph, I'm telling you, she could take a square foot of land and grow months worth of food. So I'm going to be counting on her. We're going to transform that backyard into just a living space where we can produce food. And I'm excited about that, which for me is unusual because I like having the produce, never really wanted to garden. Glenn would often be the one that would be doing the weeding and the planting and all that, but I really want to get in there. So just updating you, as we go along, I'll keep you posted how things go. My biggest concern is that that house will get sold before we are able to buy it. But I also have to let go of that, and that is not within my control. I can only do what I can do here, and I'm going to take those steps forward, starting with sorting and purging and just getting everything ready, which would be a beneficial thing anyway. But you just keep taking the next right step and letting the outcome take care of itself. So I may be posting new plans, or I may be posting me being a weeping puddle on the floor as something falls through and it doesn't happen the way I want it to. But I'm just going to bring you on this journey with me. Yeah, that's the whole purpose of this channel, actually, is just to show the real deal, the life that we live, the thoughts that I have, because I know I'm not the only one, and it may not be the same circumstances, but we all battle discouragement and disappointment, and we all have highs and lows. And so I'm just going to take you on the journey, and I have to tell you, like, it's hard to post this because I am hopeful, and I'm going forward in faith, believing that God's going to make a way even where there seems to be no way, and that He knows what's best. And it could involve heartache, and it could involve other things, but those are the real life things. I am not just going to paint this wonderful picture like movies and TV shows where everything works out and it's happy ever after and fairy tale endings and all those things. I don't think that's our goal. Yeah, it's appealing, and who doesn't want a happy ending and whatever, but in reality, we're on a journey, and there's it is the journey that matters. It's not the outcome. It's the process that molds us and makes us and leads us to places we wouldn't have gone otherwise, meeting people that we might not have met otherwise, learning things we wouldn't learn any other way, becoming stronger and deeper. But those usually all involve hard times, at least in my life. I've probably learned more in the valleys than on the mountains. So anyway, so my day when I finish this is going to be going through stuff and just, man, I have to let go of those heartstrings that want to hang on to every little thing because it meant something. Everything means something to me, which is really hard. So I have to focus on what I want the new place to be, and not keep anything that doesn't fit into that. That's going to have to be my filter and my deciding factors, is to keep that picture in my head of how simple and uncluttered and I want the new place to be, and I can't have both. I can't have all the things and have that. So that's my priority. That will be how I gauge what comes and what stays and what gets maybe passed on, but probably gotten rid of. That's gonna hurt. Glenn's so much better at, I won't tell you about the yard sale he had where I'm coming out the door and pulling half the stuff back in off the driveway because he was going to sell it and I did not want it to go. And that's not the first or only time that's happened either. So this is me. This is sentimentality, I think, is important. Greatest strength can be also your strongest weakness. So it's always a balancing act. Anyway, hope you guys have a good day. Thanks for having coffee with me. I'll keep you posted. There'll be more coffee chats. And yeah, we'll see where this goes.